Hello and welcome to Odds on La Liga, Matchday 23. What a weekend we have ahead of us with the Madrid derby, Real Madrid, Atlético de Madrid, and Barcelona closing the gap. Only 4 points from Real Madrid. The Liga title, Alvaro, is really open.
It is really open, yes, because we weren't expecting, or at least I wasn't expecting Real Madrid to drop points at Espanyol ground. Then Barcelona did the job against Alavés, 1-0, plain and simple. And, then Atlético beat Mallorca as well, so everything is tighter at the top of the table. And then also, we have to say that Valencia gradually is getting a few results at home, and they are closer to away from the relegation zone, but still they are 19th, so they have to keep on winning. But yeah, everything is pretty interesting. Real Sociedad is dropping and points and places. Then you see teams like Girona climbing. Rayo Vallecano is having a terrific season. Plenty to talk about. And this weekend, yes, we have two terrific games: the Derby of Madrid, Real Madrid, Atlético de Madrid. And of course, Barcelona-Sevilla. I know that Sevilla is not in the greatest moment right now, but a few years ago they won a few Europa League. The game is in Sevilla, and I am sure that Sevilla can put a nice fight against Barcelona.
Let's see, very important weekend for the title race, and of course, Real Madrid also involved in the Champions League playoff the following week. It might have an effect in the game in the derby on Saturday. So tell me, guys, who are you backing, Real Madrid or Atlético in the derby? Of course, if you enjoy the videos, press the like, subscribe. Let's go on now with the show. On Friday, we have Rayo Vallecano, Valladolid. It looks almost like a safe bet. Alvaro, backing Rayo Vallecano with odds 1.5. Valladolid are desperate. Another heavy defeat in Villarreal away from home. And Rayo Vallecano are in European spots. One of the huge surprises of the weekend. Now that also 𝗷𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 is shining in Bournemouth. Álvaro, I think kudos and credit to Rayo Vallecano, the president, Martín Presa, also getting eyes on 𝗷𝗏𝗏𝗏's substitute.
Yeah, this one, I don't know if Martín Presa had the clear plan of sticking to Íñigo Pérez, right? I don't know if he was 100% sure about the decision, or if the decision just happened to happen before his eyes a little bit, because Íñigo Pérez was set to leave with 𝗷𝗏𝗏𝗏 to Bournemouth, but at the end it didn't happen because he didn't meet some Brexit criteria, and Íñigo Pérez couldn't travel, not that he couldn't travel, he couldn't live in the UK or have a job in the UK. That triggered the whole thing. Strangely, some political regulations that started after the decision that the British population made in 2016. But Rayo Vallecano's job is there, and we cannot overlook it. They are doing very well this season. They are gradually climbing on the table. They are right now 6th. The last time they lost was at the start of December. What are they good at? I think that they are a very intense side. They play with a very compact block, and they also know how to capitalize tight margins, because if you look at their goal difference, they got a +2. They have scored 26, conceded 24, but they have been capable of winning many games that they were a little bit on the edge. Like, for example, the other day, the last result they got, it wasn't easy, I think. They had to fight against Leganés to get it, but at the end, 𝗵𝗵 step up, and Rayo Vallecano won it. They have won a good number of games by a 1-goal difference. They beat Celta like this, they beat Girona like this, they beat Alavés like this, and then at home they are pretty powerful this season, to the point that they have lost 3 games only. 2 of them against Athletic Bilbao and Barcelona, which is kind of understandable. Another one against Las Palmas, not so understandable, but still, they are pretty solid at home, and I'm going to back them, just because Valladolid doesn't give me any guarantees. We have spoken about that. Valladolid conceded 5 against Villarreal, no surprise. They don't have a good defense, they don't have a good attack, and on top of that, they have the feeling that they are going down. There is no sense that this can be reversible. So I think that backing Rayo Vallecano makes a lot of sense this time. It's on Friday, 8 p.m. at Vallecas. I'm going to back Rayo Vallecano with the following. Rayo Vallecano is in handicap -1, 185. If they win by 1 goal, no worries. This bet didn't exist, pretty much. You get your money back. But if they win by 2 goals, which I believe that they can really, you get 185. The bet is pretty decent.
Tricky game, the next one, Celta Betis. We can see that is tricky with the odds. Celta getting closer to the relegation spots, only 4 points away, in trouble without 𝐜𝐭𝐵 Aspas. But remember, when they get the results is when they play in Balaidos, although only 1 point in the last 4 games. Betis, Alvaro, got a draw against Athletic. I think the season has been very disappointing, mid-table, and especially if we check the squad, no? Now adding up even Anthony.
Yes, but I believe that Betis is going to have a little bit of a wake up in the second half of the season, and I think that one can start. Also because the teams that are fighting for the same targets as Betis, which are basically qualifying, if possible, for the 5th spot, more likely for the 6th one, which gives you access to the Conference League. The rest of the teams are not very reliable, right? Real Sociedad, Girona, let's see if Rayo Vallecano's great season can continue. I mean, that's for me a conundrum. And I think that Betis will improve because in the winter transfer window, I think that they did a decent job. Look, all La Liga sides together, they have invested 26 million, which is not much, it's nothing, pretty much. And I think that Bundesliga too, alone, has invested more money in the transfer window than La Liga teams. However, from all the La Liga teams, Betis have spent 13 million. So the 50% of all the money that has been spent combined in La Liga has been spent by Betis. Why? Because Betis, I think that they have identified that they needed to make a little bit of an investment to keep on being a team that plays in Europe. And they got themselves Anthony on loan, and they got themselves 𝗍𝐿𝐴 13 million, a player who was in the Columbus Crew in the MLS, a player who played for 𝗲𝗏𝗏, a player who scored a decent amount of goals actually for 𝗲𝗏𝗏, and he's going to play up front. I think that Betis needed a striker because Vitor Roque is clearly not enough, and with 𝗍𝐿𝐴 up front, all together with Anthony, who, by the way, was in a way the architect of one of the goals of Betis the other day against Athletic Club Bilbao. Anthony was a good footballer at Ajax, let's not forget it. But, you know, he got inside the Manchester United vacuum, and how many players did we see fail at Manchester United? The likes of Casemiro, for example. I know that Casemiro is a good footballer, one of the best defensive midfielders my eyes have seen. But you go into a context like Manchester United, and it's difficult to sign. And I want to think that Anthony's bad performance at Manchester United can be explained as well, because he was at Manchester United. He was under a team that doesn't have cohesion. Pellegrini is very good, just bringing back careers to life. Lo Celso, Isco, I would say 𝗍𝗏𝗏𝗀, you know, to talk about another player whose future in Europe was a little bit hanging. I think Pellegrini can do something with Anthony. I think Betis is going to improve. Celta, you know, they are dropping points, they are dropping on the table. However, they tend to score even when they lose. You know, they have lost the last 4 games, Celta, and in their last 4 defeats, and this is very interesting for me, in their last 4 defeats, yes, they haven't lost the last 4 games. I mean, they got 3 losses and 1 draw in the last 4 games. But in their last 4 defeats, Celta has scored at least 1 goal. So this game looks to me like an over this time, because Betis has a little bit more of firepower, and because Celta tends to score. So over 2.25 goals, 183. Otherwise, the odds are very favorable for us to back Betis. I'm not going to take it, but I think that I should people know that a double chance for a team like Betis against Celta, who is in a little bit of a crisis right now, a double chance for Betis is 165.
Okay, next game is Athletic Girona, very interesting one in the fight for Europe. Athletic is still fourth, but the gap with Villarreal got shorter, 4 points away since they dropped points against Betis and Leganés recently, and Girona beat Las Palmas on Monday, now without Champions League. Alvaro, they are only 1 point away from Rayo Vallecano, so their goal is to qualify again for Europe.
It is, and they got out of points. If you compare Girona with Girona's performances in other seasons in the top flight, with the exception, of course, of last season. Girona got an important result on Monday after losing in the Champions League against Arsenal. That dream is over. The Champions League dream is over. They are not in the cup either. Now they can focus on La Liga. There are 16 games to go, and Girona needed to tell themselves that they are going to be competitive from now on. So beating Las Palmas, who is a decent side, 2-1 at home, also, with Abel Ruiz and Asprilla scoring, footballers who I believe that they have to give even more to the team. It was refreshing for them. That was important. But they are playing at San Mamés, and Athletic Club Bilbao this season, I know that they have gone through a rough patch, especially in January. I think a part of it was kind of planned, because in the Europa League they lost in Matchday 7, but they knew that they were already qualified among the top 8. And then they lost in the cup against Osasuna. They played well, but they lost. And there is no shame to take in losing to Osasuna in a cup game. But in La Liga, they've been really strong. And the last time Athletic Club Bilbao lost a football game, it was already a long time ago. It was the 6th of October. Curiously, it was against Girona. Athletic has lost 3 games this season against Barcelona, and they deserve to lose it. Against Atlético de Madrid pretty much in the last minute, 1-0, and against Girona. In the game against Girona, they missed 3 penalties. On a normal day, they would have won it, but they didn't. And I believe that Athletic right now is a better team than Girona. They are playing at home. Right now in February, they are going to be able to rest a little bit as well, because they are not playing the Europa League playoff. So I'm going to back Athletic Club Bilbao, who has been unbeaten in 13 games, to win 171. By the way, this run of Athletic, 13 games unbeaten in the league, is one of the best in their history, the 4th best. Only the Athletic de Bilbao from Javier Clemente in 82, 84, and 86, I believe that those are the years, managed to get better runs. But, this run, 13 games unbeaten, is a run that you will associate with a team like Atletico, Real Madrid, or Barcelona, not with Athletic.
Well, Athletic fighting for the 4th spot with Villarreal only 4 points away now. Villarreal traveling to the Canary Islands, to Las Palmas in crisis, 2 points away now from Alavés, is only 1 point in the last 4 games, and Villarreal look sharp at this moment on time. Alvaro thrashing Mallorca, Valladolid, even the draw at Metropolitano were positive. If you want to back them, it's 1.8.
Yeah, and I think that it makes sense to back Villarreal here somehow, of course. So if you believe on that, go for that. In my case, I think that Villarreal could get something from Las Palmas ground, no doubt about that. But I think that the goals market is even more likely, because the games with Villarreal, they are really stuffed with goals. Las Palmas is a decent scoring side as well. For example, Fabio Silva, a footballer that they didn't have a lot of trust on, has scored already 7 goals in La Liga. Strangely, only 1 at home, 6 away. So maybe Fabio Silva to score is not the best possible bet, because he is not scoring at home this season. But anyway, he's having a good campaign. If the money is good for him to score, consider it. When it comes to Villarreal, I wouldn't know who to back to score, because all their strikers are more or less scoring. Tierno Barri, Ayoce Perez, then you see the likes of Denis Suarez, Comesaña, Papegay, Gerard Moreno, who is a doubt. Any player can score. It's a team it's a very holistic team in that way. Like they've got many possible scorers, many players in the score sheet, many footballers who just get in the box and take shots. It's very interesting. And the games with Villarreal this season have produced an incredible amount of 77 goals. 44 for Villarreal, 33 received by Villarreal. So there is no doubt that we are talking about the most entertaining side of La Liga at that level. So I think that this game can be goals, and I'm going to go for the goals market. Both teams to score 164, yes, because it happens a lot. Even Valladolid the other day could score against Villarreal. I also like over 2.5 goals, which pays very similarly, 168.
And the game of the games this weekend is the Madrid derby at the Bernabeu, Real Madrid, Atlético de Madrid, with Real Madrid now in turmoil after losing against Espanyol, very angry with the referees. Even the club released a statement because of the red card not shown after 𝗵𝗵𝗏 was down, and on top of that, Rudiger is injured. On top of that, Alaba is again injured, so there is no defense to face Atlético de Madrid. And on top of that, on Tuesday, Man City is coming, so a lot of problems with Real Madrid, with some people looking at Ancelotti or even Florentino Perez for bad planning. And in the middle of this, Atlético de Madrid comes with the good morale after qualifying for the Copa del Rey semi-finals after beating Mallorca, and with Griezmann in good form. Alvaro, this is very open, probably much more open than what we see in the odds. We see Real Madrid 2 favorite, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree. I don't know why the bookmakers didn't take into consideration, or maybe they did, who knows, the fact that Real Madrid has many defenders missing. Alaba, Militao, and Rudiger are centre-back 1, 2, and 3 of Real Madrid, and none of them will be able to play. Nacho left in summer, in my opinion, a terrific defender. That's something that Real Madrid decided to do, and Nacho wanted to leave, fair enough, to the player after his good service to Real Madrid. So basically the 4th centre-back of Real Madrid right now is 𝗵𝗵𝗏, right? Then 𝗀𝗵𝗏 is very likely to play as a defender, even though we know that he is a midfielder. 𝗵𝗏𝗏 is out for the season, so Lucas Vázquez will be the right back, with the possibility of 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏 being the right back, I don't know, instead of Lucas Vázquez. And then on the left will be Ferland Mendy, unless Carlo Ancelotti decides to play Mendy as a centre-back and Fran García as a left-back. So on a hypothetical scenario, Real Madrid will play with Lucas Vázquez, 𝗀𝗵𝗏, Asensio, and Ferland Mendy at the back. You know, that defense against the likes of Atlético, Griezmann, and 𝗲𝗏𝗏, and Correa even, is a liability, because Atlético de Madrid this summer put all their money in the strikers, basically, plus Conor Gallagher. But Julian Álvarez and 𝗲𝗏𝗏 arrive, and both of them, with their profile, they can be very complicated to defend for the defenders I mentioned. Julian Álvarez moves very well, he doesn't give you a point of reference. 𝗲𝗏𝗏 is the opposite, but is very strong in the aerial battles. He's also very fast, I believe. But I think that 𝗀𝗏𝗏 and especially Asensio may find it more comfortable to defend one like 𝗲𝗏𝗏. Julian Álvarez, the spider, La Araña, and Antoine Griezmann, really, I think they have a chance here to hurt Real Madrid. Look, we spoke about Real Madrid, and you were saying that some question Ancelotti or Florentino Perez. I have to say something about Ancelotti. They are topping the table, and I think Real Madrid is still a big candidate to win La Liga. I have no doubt about that. But Ancelotti never had this amount of points at this stage of the competition as a Real Madrid manager. He's been at Real Madrid for a few seasons now, 5 or 6. At this stage of the competition, after 22 games, he always had more points than now. But also, Barcelona has had a really bad run. Atlético de Madrid started the season badly. So, we arrived into February with the 3 sides at the top of the table just being candidates to win La Liga. This is fantastic. This is a great thing. And Atlético de Madrid right now is in a great moment. In fact, this midweek, they beat Getafe so comfortably, 5-0. I know that Lenormand is not there for Atlético, but that's a tiny problem in comparison to what Real Madrid defense is about. Probably, I guess that Lenglet and Jimenez will play together, and that's about right. So for this game, considering Real Madrid's defensive problems, I'm going to go for both teams to score. I don't think that Atlético will have a clean sheet against Real Madrid with Vinicius and Mbappé on the pitch. Personally, I don't think that will happen. Both teams to score 172. Otherwise, an Asian handicap plus 0.75 for Atletico is something that I've been treasuring a little bit as of late, because that pays 181, and since I believe that Atletico can, for real, trouble Real Madrid and their defense, Asian handicap plus 0.75, meaning that if Atletico wins, you win, and if they draw, you win as well, and if they lose by one, you suffer half a lose, is something that I really think that could happen. That pays 181.
What a game, this one, very important, I think, for the future, even of Ancelotti and of Real Madrid coming into the tie with Man City with a bad result in the derby. Would be really risky, especially with the background that they had at the Etihad. Let's see what happens in this Real Madrid Atletico, with Real Madrid really favorite. Atletico, remember, drew the last two games in the last minute at the Bernabeu last season and at the Metropolitano. We saw 1-1 in both games. Actually, in the last 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 games between these two teams, Alvaro, we saw both teams to score.
Also. Yeah, and I also think that this can happen for the reasons I said. Real Madrid's defense is in tatters right now. Real Madrid this season, I would like to add, that has been pretty poor against the top opposition, really. They lost to Barcelona twice in the Super Cup and in La Liga. They couldn't beat Atletico at the Metropolitano back in autumn, even though I have to say that the Ultras of Atletico have an impact on that game and the result. I have no doubt about that. But then Real Madrid has lost at Anfield, they lost at Bilbao, they also lost against Milan at home. So in the big encounters, Real Madrid this season hasn't been able to step up or hasn't competed very well. So this is something that we have to take into consideration as well. It's totally compatible to top La Liga because you are winning the winnables, and at the same time to find it very difficult to compete in the highest level games. So far, that has been the story of Real Madrid.
Indeed, and it gets even worse if you drop points as well in a stadium like 𝐿𝐭𝐚𝐲, where you should win. Well, let's see what happens in this great game. Let's jump into the games we have on Sunday. First one is Alavés Getafe. This is crucial for the relegation battle. Alavés dropped to the bottom three after losing to Barça only 1-0, but they didn't attack, basically. They are still favorites, Alvaro, to win this game, although Alavés with the new manager, I think it's only one win. The supporters probably are still thinking why they sacked Luis Garcia when the team was outside the relegation spots. And Getafe, they lost in Copa del Rey, but in La Liga they are in great form, getting points in a lot of difficult grounds and in no defeats in the last 4 games with 2 wins and 2 draws.
Yeah, my favorite bet for this game is draw, by the way. I think that I like Alavés against Barcelona. I think that they show resilience, and Getafe is in a good moment. Probably they want to forget as quickly as possible what happened at Metropolitano, losing 5-0 in the Cup. Not that Bordalás and his players are going to be extremely disappointed about that, because number one, Atletico always beats them. Always gets a positive result against them. And number two, because what Getafe is about this season is about staying in La Liga. They got themselves one striker, by the way. Given Borja Mayoral's physical issues, they got themselves 𝗀𝗏𝗏. Well, 𝗀𝗏𝗏 is not a striker that I particularly love, but it's true that he has the experience in La Liga, and if he can contribute with 5 goals from now until late May, that will keep Getafe in the top flight. I have no doubt about that. But yeah, Alavés, look, the run is not great. In the last 8 games, they have lost 5, I believe, draw 2, won 1. But at home against Getafe, I think they are going to stay competitive. They will make it hard, but Getafe knows how to make it tough as well. So I anticipate a draw in this game. I think that a draw is a good bet here at Mendizorroza. 305 is the money for that. And Getafe has shown this season repeatedly that they know how to get something from difficult grounds. They also got a win against Barcelona, but that happened 2 weeks ago. A draw against Barcelona. But yeah, I think that this can be a draw. I think the draw wouldn't be too bad actually for any of them, and it would be too good for Getafe, obviously.
Yeah, probably it would be better for Getafe. Next game also key for the relegation battle, Valencia. Leganés, you mentioned at the beginning how Valencia are trying to stay in Primera División with back-to-back wins in Mestalla against Celta and Real Sociedad, 4 points away from salvation. Leganés only 2 points away from the bottom three, lost to Rayo Vallecano after great results, for instance, against Athletic or Atlético de Madrid.
Yeah, well, let's start with Valencia. I think that Valencia under 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀 is slightly better. I mean, the results are there. I think the debut of Carlos 𝗀𝗏𝗀 was against Real Madrid, and Valencia lost in the last minute, right, with a goal from Jude Bellingham in stoppage time. Some sort of divine justice, considering that Jude Bellingham was got cancelled at Valencia last season in a very unfair way. But anyway, Valencia under 𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗀, they got the following results. 4 wins, 2 defeats, of course heavy defeats, because the 7-1 against Barcelona, don't forget it, and 1 draw. 4 wins, 2 defeats, and 1 draw. The draw against Sevilla at Sánchez-Pizjuán. You know, it's not that bad, and at home they have managed to beat Real Sociedad and then Celta Vigo. So there is an improvement in there, and that has to be said. And in winter they tried to fortify themselves with a new arrival. You know, I don't know if he's going to make a difference, but they got themselves 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗀, a player that is not very well known in Spain, but he was the young player of Primera Liga in 2023, and he was playing for Porto, not playing a lot, but he was there. So, you know, Valencia, now they really have to step up, and these are the kind of games that are a must win for Valencia. Is this a 6-pointer? Almost there. If it wasn't for the fact that Leganés is doing quite good, and I believe that they have been clearly better than Valencia this season. They've got 4 points more than them. But yeah, maybe this is a 6-pointer actually. I'm going to correct myself here. And Valencia has proven in the last 2 games at home that little by little they are building some consistency at home with wins against Real Sociedad, then the one against Celta. So I'm going to back Valencia to win 183. This is a must win for Valencia. Of course, Leganés is a good side as well. And I don't forget that Leganés this season has gotten some real remarkable results, like beating Barcelona, beating Atlético. But given Valencia's late form at home, I think that it makes sense to back the home side.
It looks like Valencia, Leganés, Espanyol, Alavés, they are going to fight until the last day to stay in Primera División. It's going to be very tight. Next game is Real Sociedad Espanyol. Espanyol probably also fighting until the end now, out of the bottom three after that great win against Real Madrid. No one expected that. 4 undefeated games for them, 2 wins and 2 draws. And Real Sociedad, Álvaro, as you said at the beginning, they are in a bad moment, in crisis, thinking probably in the Copa del Rey game against Osasuna. They actually lost to Osasuna in La Liga. Perhaps also thinking about Midtjylland in the Europa League. And this game comes in between those, so perhaps it's a good opportunity to Espanyol for getting something out of San Sebastián.
Well, a double chance for Espanyol pays over 2, and my eyes went straight to that because Espanyol has improved in 2025 a little bit, for sure. They've got 8 points out of 12 in La Liga, so the run is there, and if they manage to get 2 more runs like this at some point this season, they're going to stay in La Liga. But the double chance for Espanyol pays over 2, and for a team that did such a little investment, it's quite an achievement, I would say. And Real Sociedad, I wasn't anticipating that. I thought that Real Sociedad's growth was going to be linear, but it hasn't been. Last season, Real Sociedad at this stage, was receiving PSG at home in the Champions League, and I really thought that they could beat PSG, and at the end it didn't happen. Mbappé was too much for them, but only 12 months ago, Real Sociedad was there, just fighting with the European giants, beating the likes of Salzburg, Benfica, drawing with Inter twice. But this season has been a little bit of a disaster. Look, They are already, Real Sociedad, 4 points away from the 6th place, which gives you access to the Conference League, and 13 points away from the Champions League. This is not the Real Sociedad of Imanol Alguacil that we are used to. Also at home, they haven't created any sort of good vibes, to the point that they've got the same points at home than away this season. They only collected 4 wins at home. It's really poor. It's true that in some games, when the opponent is really big, like against Barcelona or even against against Real Madrid, they put a fight. Sometimes they win, they get an extra motivation, but the calendar is killing them, really. And also the fact that a few players, 𝗲𝗲𝗿𝗲𝗀𝗀's goal tally is not right. It's not right for a footballer who, after 2.5 years after his ACL injury, the year after he scored that European Championship winning goal, I thought that 𝗲𝗲𝗿𝗲𝗀 was going to step up, but it hasn't been the case either. Maybe this is the game for a surprising result. Maybe on Friday I'll check how the odds are, and if double chance for Espanyol pays still over 2.1, I'm going to go for it, just because I think that Real Sociedad can drop some points here, but my eyes go straight to the under. This is a game for an under, I believe. Under 2.5 goals, 170 is something that I consider strongly, because if Real Sociedad and Espanyol go on the pitch right now, I'm not expecting them to go on a scoring spree, not at all. Whoever wins is going to win by a tight margin. So under 2.5 goals, 170.
Next game is Sevilla-Barcelona, great game at the Sánchez-Pizjuán. Barcelona really favorites, 1.59, but as we know, Sevilla, even if they are having a tough season, can be very dangerous. At home, no defeats in the last 4 games, usually bad experiences, we must say, against Barcelona. But sometimes Barcelona switch off Alvaro, and even against Alavés, they didn't struggle, but it was not a shiny victory, that's for sure.
Well, they didn't struggle, but let me tell you that every time that Alavés, from the 80th minute onwards, every time that Alavés crossed the halfway line, it looked like danger could happen. Barcelona couldn't kill it off. And, Lamine Yamal had to stay on the pitch until the 90th minute, and then Hansi Flick just substitute him in the stoppage time. And Lewandowski step up. I think that we shouldn't overlook the importance of a footballer like Robert Lewandowski, who at the end of the day has scored 30 goals already this season in 32 games. His goal tally, his goal ratio is really good. And when you get yourself a number 9, is to win games like those, games that are difficult, games that you cannot take from the scruff of the neck from the very start. But that result, 1-0 for Barcelona, was a little bit of an oddity, I would say, because normally Barcelona scores a lot of goals in games, and they rarely produce a clean sheet. I wasn't expecting that one. I was expecting something like 3 or 4 goals for Barcelona against Alavés. Didn't happen. Well, yes, Barcelona is a team that naturally scores a lot of goals. We have seen that Frenkie de Jong, little by little, is taking over Marc Casado. We have seen that Araujo is not the best player to play from the back. I think that Barcelona with Íñigo Martínez was better than with Araujo in the defense. Don't ask me why. I think that Araujo is a very good defender, but when it comes to playing the ball from the back, he's not the most composed one, and also his synergy with Pau Cubarsí is not as good. And, Pedri is in a great moment, that's for sure. They are playing against Sevilla. Sevilla lost in the reverse fixture 5-1 against Barcelona. This is going to be a totally different story, for sure. No Iheanacho for Sevilla. He left to 𝗵𝗏𝗏, who would have anticipated that Iheanacho wasn't going to succeed at Sevilla. I think that this game can have goals, but I do believe that Barcelona is going to win it. So over 3 goals in this game, 172 is my first suggestion. And I've got 2 more that I will happily take, really. Barcelona to win at 30 minutes, 225, but maybe the one I like better is Barcelona to score in both halves, because they can do it. And Sevilla is not defined by their strong and solid defensive structure. I think that Sevilla can put a fight, yes, But if Sevilla fights, it's not because they are going to park the bus or anything like that. It's going to be because they make it difficult for Barcelona in other areas, but not necessarily park the bus. They don't know how to play like that, let alone with a manager like García Pimienta. I think Barcelona can score goals. So Barcelona to score in both halves, 2-10 is my risky bet. My less risky one is over 3 goals because it tends to happen a lot in Barcelona games. Over 3 goals in total, 172.
Okay, and for Monday we have Mallorca Osasuna, both doing a great season in the mid-upper part of the standings, only 2 points away from Europe, but in a bad situation. Mallorca 3 consecutive defeats in La Liga. Osasuna finally got a win against Real Sociedad, but they were winless in the previous 9 and thinking in the Copa del Rey.
Yeah, definitely. And that game that can also, get some legs tired and all that. This game is an interesting one. Luckily for them both, they are playing on Monday because Osasuna will need a little bit of rest after the Copa del Rey. None of them are in a particularly good run, as you well said, Edu. Mallorca has lost 3 games in a row already. The last time they got a win was before Christmas. And when it comes to Osasuna, yes, they won the last game. But before that win, the last time they won a football game was the start of November. All that said, both teams are having a good season. But eventually, I anticipate that, for example, the likes of Betis and Real Sociedad, who are below them on the table, will catch up and surpass them. But for this game in particular, it's a tricky one, this one. I'm not too sure. But I would say that the difference between Mallorca and Osasuna at this stage is that Osasuna has a very good scorer at their side, like 𝗵𝗲𝗿𝗍𝗀𝗧𝗏, who has scored 12 out of 27 goals of the team, and Mallorca doesn't right now. I'm going to back Osasuna with a double chance because I'm purely going for the odds here. The odds are more inviting to back Osasuna. Both teams have a similar level. Double chance for Osasuna, double chance for Osasuna, 183. Otherwise, this game could be a pass for me.
Well, Alvaro, this is the end of the journey in this very interesting weekend in La Liga in this 3-horse race for the title. Remember, of course, that you can post your tips in Oddspedia and be able to win some cash prizes in our tipster competitions or create your own tipster competition thanks to rivals. Alvaro, your safe bet?
It will be Sevilla-Barcelona over 2.5 goals, 148.
And the ACCA?
Asian handicap -1 for Rayo. Athletic Club to win. Sevilla-Barcelona over 3 goals. Altogether, 544.
Well, Alvaro, thank you. Tell me, guys, what you think, of course, in the comments, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.